more and more I am being guided to study more. More and more I am being guided to study more.
See my Moorish flag flying like my Moorish cape. I'm not a Jew, but Jerusalem has a Moorish gate. Dirty Moors unreal, call them Moorish fakes. Pull at Negroes' emotions like some Moorish drakes. If you really want to know, go to a Moorish meeting. You better have a pen and pad, cause when active Moors speaking, it's wake up time. You won't find the Moorish sleeping. Crescent moon and star in the sky, that's a Moorish beacon. The way I navigate beats, call me Moorish Seaman. My nationality, I have the power, Moorish He-Man. Moorish turban, I'm loyal, don't mistake me for bourbon. Moorish master MC surgeon, not a rapping servant. We suburban, more than so determined to solve the Negro problem. Moorish white man's burden. Moors beans conquer, white rice, that's a Moorish plate. Black or more fish on the hook, that's a Moorish bait. Moorish estate before chapter 48, ancestral line. All secrets taken away. Moors are not clandestine. Euro-Masons go to back rooms or washrooms, returning black robes and hoods with cloaks. Moorish costume, you won't have it twisted once the Moorish got you. Desensitize the facts so the truth won't shock you. Some people call it awesome, I'm making it awful. Liar, lawyer, pushing the legal when Moors are lawful. Creatures give you ghost spells, she bring Moorish gospel. Moors are ancient, they even found a fez on a fossil. Even Bruce Lee knew he wore shirts with aunts. Even MC Hammer knew pantaloons are Moorish pants.
I understand, man. I understand the nationality is the order of the day. I understand.
I've seen and heard Moorish things in this realm. I had to fathom in shadow eyes inside hoods. Moorish master phantoms, smoke swarms, sword in circle 7 forms. You can stay close, I'm gonna stay far from the norm. Tory and Astro, travel on terror, no license, no jail cell, no cuffs, no sirens, no watching over my back, trying not to get stabbed, no fence hopping, windows popping. Want me nabbed, Moorish monk status, bad up any youth who's baddest. With knowledge of self, Moorish Quran quotes, gun in my belt. Moorish Naga, not a nigga, no shots fired. Telling officers they're servants and just hired. Easing back into his cruiser, Popo ego bruiser. Tables turn, Moorish status got him like the loser. It's a shame, many hear it, but only a few wake up from the dream state and do what Moors do. Fearing their own Moorish star, pheasant, L-Bay. I'm staying Moorish, I don't care what blacks say. You can tell me, many Moors are running a racket. Or show me pics proving Drew Ali is a Moorish faggot. No matter how bad it looks, I'm not dropping this habit. Moorish Neo wake up the streets telling me follow white rabbits, jumping, stumbling blocks. They call Holy Trinity. Moorish mind, soul, and heart expressing divinity. I'm Illuminati, illuminated, great seal more. All seeing eye from high, being the being I. Stand on squares and compass as Allah prepares. The minds are handled, demonic candles, devilish stairs, casting spells. So I can abandon and give them my power. For Grand Dragon commanded from a Moorish tower. Yelling Alfred pipe quotes, don't be surprised to catch me. Drawing Moorish pentagrams, reading Madame Blavatsky.
I'm a Moor. Lord. I'm a Moor. Got sense enough to know it. And they don't never argue with you that I'm not a Moor. And wouldn't come in your house or come among you and say I'm a Moor if I didn't feel in my heart, in my mind, in my soul that I am. God damn it, I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Why you don't pull up on the passenger side of the police car and bust on the police instead of your brother? I've never heard of it. You say you a gangster? Gangster?
Black power my ass, y'all just playing the ass posing, frontin', no bustin', no dirty cock gun button. At least Moore's right rich, trying to do something. Pen as my weapon, feathers up and turbans, no bluffing. Don't get it twisted, sort of more get handcuffing. Judges dismiss cases, prosecutors cussing. Telling my guys accuse themselves or get sued. Civil right leaders got conscious blacks marching on news, stopping traffic, or people that didn't kill their sons and daughters. In Canaanland we call y'all right and out of order. Nationality has me awake like a sleepless shorter. While most wear blinders, my peripherals broader. For the record, I sweat nervous court reporters in Admiralty maritime shores. Moors walk on water. Engines return with no kills, no sight blurred while they stay killing their minds and saying they learn.
Why you don't pull up on the passenger side of the police car and bust on the police instead of your brother? I've never heard of it. You say you're a gangster.
Your forefathers had names before they became slaves. Seems like today it's only nicknames and pain. You should be learning so pain could stop from these vermin. German Nazi Inquisition is enslaving with sermons. Declared independence, still giving Moors reverence. Talking treaties with Muslims that overlaw this entrance to the entrance masters. Keep them docile and passive. Killing them, corralling backpacking like hostile fascists. Take oaths to break them, unless it's from the Lord. They give prophets who take them and neglect ancestors. Playing Mr. Tuffy, smoking a Dutch from the same master, bully stealing your money for lunch. Wanna drink from their bowl cause they spike their punch. With Clorox, I'm not guessing, but I have a hunch. I can say I stand up to mercenary punks while you face proposing with Glocks cocked and shotguns pumped.
Why you don't pull up on the passenger side of the police car and bust on the police instead of your brother? I've never heard of it. You say you're a gangster.
If you got guns and use them on targets moving. Try KKK badge carriers in your hood cruising. I'm not promoting violence, it's a point I'm proving. Moore's methods do work, but coons disapproving. Till it calling you out, but you're attacking the sheep and wanna show me how good you are with your hands and feet. Never challenge a cop when they arresting your brother, but we'll wear hoods and hold skittles one after another. Acting with lethal weapons, you Mel Gibsons and gloves. Shot in the back and watching you suffer. Black standing on corners in seconds, life smothered. She forgave him for his son's death, but listen to mother. Listen to common exercising his five senses. To end racism, stop looking through racial lenses. Look at constitutional, not civil defenses. Stop marching. The only thing that pickets is fences.
Why you don't pull up on the passenger side of the police car and bust on the police instead of your brother? I've never heard of it. You say you're a gangster. Why you don't pull up on the passenger side of the police car and bust on the police instead of your brother? I've never heard of it. You say you're a gangster. I've never heard of it.
It's love to Rudra. Invasion. Watch for democracies, hypocrisy, philosophies, fear and chop factories, pseudo-pop mockeries and poppy fields, blocking swinging chops without Moroccan shields, industry divine floor versus walking stocking wheels, popping fields empty, buried in the battlefields, working on the streets is walking in some cattle fields. King Alfred Gruesome, lover mental snoozing, sleepwalking and talking, cell phones are soothing. Minds disappearing, genetic memory erasing. Don't even have a job, but they get you for tax evasion. Hot like a frying pan, crying fam, lying men. Use guidance, firemen, no loyalty, just buying friends. No credit, debt slaves, walking over paved graves. Enslaved, enraged, marriage to death, prearranged. Mike Sufi Genie, bomb tracks bikini. Stupid niggas call my first bucket hat when they see me, but won't ask a thing or drink the water that I bring. But when the Pope comes, they're kissing on his ring. They'd rather drink a rapper's flows from the black fountain. Piper got the dead lined up in the thousands. Confusion with illusions, infusion with sorcery. Won't give up my birthright no matter what they offer me. No deal. Push the red button, I'm going home. Close my eyes, me SNL and Vendome. The fires that we turn on, make them all shake. Islamism, grand chic, not spelled like shake. Open minds, not scandal when you enter my zone. I wouldn't call it murder when I snap the neck of my clone. Trying to escape with the Moorish temple charter. See this face the charter, no making me a martyr. Sir, I enlarge ya. Aura is my armor. When I plant a seed in man's soil, rhyme farmer. Use the alma rap sort of like an almanac. Keep listening to sleepless hip-hop insomniac. Moorish MC, call me that acquiesce, don't call back, just fall back. Any rapper after 95, all whack. Their flow just trickles like drops on icicles. Rappers need training wheels on their rhyme sickles. Keep people's mind pickled in a lost realm. When it comes to Moorish MCs, I'm at the helm. Invasion. Trying to escape with the Moorish temple charter. Receive the space the slaughter. No making me a martyr. You can learn I enlarge ya. Aura is my armor. Aura is my armor. Invasion. Trying to escape with the Moorish temple charter. Receive the space the slaughter. No making me a martyr. You can learn I enlarge ya. Aura is my armor. Aura is my armor. Aura is our armor. Aura is our armor. Islam Moors, what's good? You already know. Canaanland Moors, YouTube. If you want to support, check out the music, willofallah.com. Islam to all the Moors in the chat. Islam to all the Moors everywhere who know that they're not Negro, black, colored, Ethiopian, and all the other BS, that they're Moors. So we have a special guest today, and we want to first put it on the record, right? That this is how it's supposed to be, right? This is how it's really supposed to be. I ain't, bringing you in, let you know this is how it's supposed to be. When you find about your nationality and birthrights as a Moor, and you realize what it really is, before you try to claim a house, before you try to claim some land, before you try to do whatever it is you think Moorish, being a Moor or whatever is about, what you should do is you should let somebody else know ASAP.
Yep.
Before you do anything, before you figure out how you're going to get yourself out of whatever BS you got yourself into that you think being a Moor is going to get you out of, put all that stuff over there. Don't worry about that right now. And put some attention to putting the word out on our people. Now, I know, because I've been around. We've been repping since 2008 on Moorish, and we never moved from who we came up under. That's still who we rep as the master teachers today, because everybody else out there who's not down with, our master teachers are running some type of fraud out here. So there's unity on this side of the Moors, that you hear those people say the sovereign citizen Moors or the active Moors or the street Moors or whatever name they want to make up for the Moors who been putting in work at the risk of their life, at the risk of their wife not seeing their husband, at the risk of husband have to sit there and watch his wife cry because they came and took the kids, at the risk of them coming and taking the children, at the risk of them coming and taking the offspring or the heirs, at the risk of going to a store just to drink some coffee but not buy coffee, and then you happen to get beat up because you're in this certain store. At the risk of all that, they still say we're Moors, even after all that stuff happens. So we want to address some things, but like we did with Dr. Lee Melbay, this is not Cujo stuff right now. But, the platform could be used. That's why, Brother Lee would come on here and call these people bitch-ass niggas and stuff like that. And he's a Moor. And he's a grand sheik, and he's a grand whatever. He has all the titles that you could claim to whatever, to be in the adepts of the silent brotherhood, white brotherhood, or whatever. He knows all the passcodes and he knows all the stuff. right? And he even came on here with all his credentials and said, F these people that are playing games with you, right? You know, off the cuff one day, good brother Sabir Bey called him. He doesn't argue with anybody and stuff like that, but he cussed some people out on Canaanland war stuff, right? Let them know. Why? Because they're playing games with our people. So we don't, you know, we're more Science Temple and all that. We rep Noble Drew Ali and all that stuff. We got Divine Constitution. We got certificates that we're sheiks and all that. But we don't muzzle people. Because Allah gives every man his own. Allah gives every man his own. For him to stand and say, this is what I know as a Moor. Forget what anybody else said and who I learned from and all that BS. Because even that is a fiction, and the real master teachers will tell you that's a fiction. Forget master teachers. It ain't about no master teachers. It's about you get the message or whatever. Okay, what are you doing greater than the master teachers? Oh, you still debating some BS? You're not doing anything for anybody? You clearly know who the sellouts are. So we don't ride with sellouts. We ride with Moors who use their common sense, and then after they use their common sense, then they can use whatever it is they want after that to prove whatever point they got to prove. So every single one of these individuals who call themselves some Native American, Aboriginal, Indian, whatever tribe, whatever island that they say that they come from, all those guys, this is a message for them. All those guys who want to be all that, but don't want to be Moors, like a dumbass. How's Noble Drew Ali have a feather in his goddamn stuff and he's not repping for some Native Americans? You jackass. He's over here. Anybody with a feather over here is Native Indian. Anybody. I don't care who they are. If they say that there's some whatever organization, group, association, whatever like that, and you see them with feathers and ankhs and certain things that are from this side, not just over on that side, from this side too. That means they're indigenous to here, which would mean that they're Moors, because Moors are the custodians of the ancient Kemetic mysteries, which is what gave them the jurisdiction to come to America and set up over here. Because it's one people, and it's called succession. And who you down with? You down with ancient Egypt? Well, those guys gave the stuff to the Moors, ancient Egypt guys. Are you guys dumb? The master teachers of the ancient Egypt stuff gave their stuff to the Moors. And then there's people today saying that they're repping ancient Egypt. What the hell are you talking about? So same thing with these dumbasses that say they're Aboriginal and Indigenous, they're Americans, they're Indians, they're everything having to their Atachsans and all this stuff, but they're not Moors. These people are stupid. So I'm gonna get off the soapbox and just let me know what to play and you do your thing, more.
Peace. I just want to start off by saying invasion. I appreciate you for, calling me. And I want to say for the record, I wanted to do this to, defend Raleigh and defend Marcus Garvey. Because this guy trying to say...
Before we go, don't forget to put your appellation on the record so everybody knows what's
yeah, my bad. My bad. Jamal Khalil Abdullah Bey. There's no Rise of the Moors. Appreciate you, Cujo, for, allowing me to be on your platform.
There's a lot more.
Feel free to call me Squirrelfoot if you want. Right? But like I said, these Indians, all of them, frauds. Fraud. Any Indian claiming to be Aborigine, whatever. First of all, when I was invited to a Chiefs meeting, right? Where I'm from is Central Falls area. There's like a small building. And these are the so-called Narragansett Indians out here. And in this building had nothing but Europeans on the walls. So how are you a Native American Indian if you got pale skin people on your walls? You know what I mean? That's the first point. Just to knock Indians, you know, just knock their claim down. Second of all, I already did a video on these Indians with their joint memorandum of understanding between the corporate state of Rhode Island, and you can say it in the document, and the corporation known as the Narragansett Tribe of Indians. So in all of their documents, they're admitting that they're not a tribe of people, they're not a nation of people, they're not associated with the land at all. They're a corporation. Now, apparently, this guy, DarkMan X or whatever, like I said earlier, he's claiming that Marcus Garvey is a sellout. Now, what's interesting about that is last Thursday, when I came back from New York, I went to Abdullah's class. These Moors from the Atlanta territory came up to see me so I can sign their name correction and judicial notice as a witness. And they were telling me they're from the islands there, you know, Trinidad and stuff like that. And they took a trip out to Ghana. And when they were in Ghana, the Ghanaians have a memorial for Marcus Garvey, honoring the works that he did here. And then, you know, we can go into what Dr. Ben talked about, you know, the Ashanti and, you know, and them people, and then go into the Moorish science during the Moorish history during the 1500s. And the universities and you know, Timbuktu and the fact that our knowledge was so prominent that the Ghanaians, the Twa, switched their everything to Moorish. Everything they did was switch their script, their language, all that kind of stuff. So for this guy, so-called DarkMan X or whatever, to say something negative about Marcus Garvey, what are you talking about? How is Marcus Garvey a sellout? If Marcus Garvey's on the money in Jamaica. You get what I'm saying?
Love.
Who puts sellouts on their own money? Stupid. But
okay, no. All right. Since we're on Garvey, let me ask you this. So
yeah.
In your, because we're also going in on this, you know, trying to set this stage like he maybe wasn't respectable or supposed to be respected or something. But I'm still trying to figure out how they came to, because remember there was somebody on there who was Jamaican too. He's going against his own brother Garvey.
Yeah.
If he's riding with this guy. Right? And remember when they were looking up the definition of Moor, right? He made reference to the other guy because one of the definitions said Moras.
Yep. And Ras is a title.
Ras is a title for the Rastafarians or whatever.
Yep.
So you already know that these dudes already played out all their cards.
Yeah. Dumb.
Right? And then now to go again and say that Marcus Garvey is a sellout. What in your perspective, just as a student, what was your perspective of Marcus Garvey, and then finding out about Noble Drew Ali? What was the perspective then? Or tell the story of how, you know, you coincide these two as far as Marcus Garvey and Noble Drew Ali.
Well, to be honest, I first found out about Marcus Garvey from a European. I was working for this company, Spencer Technologies, doing work all over the Eastern Seaboard, and I was up in the Maine territory, and I was, you know, installing Wi-Fi for like Banana Republic, I think, or something like that. And this European guy, you know, he loved our culture apparently, and he was telling me about Marcus Garvey and all these great people. I was like, I don't know who none of these people are. You know what I mean? And then my camerawoman's brother came from New York and was like, you know about the Moor? I was like, nah, who are these people? Because I had just got out the military in 2014. And this was around 2016. So I had no idea, you know, I thought I was Negro, black, colored, U.S. citizen, proud Marine. I got Marine Corps tattoos, all that kind of stuff. And then I seen this video from brother Kaba Hiawatha Kamene, and he was just doing his lecture on Moors, like a 2-hour lecture. I was like, I need to see what he's talking about. So I started Googling him, boom, 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 and YouTubing him. And then I seen his lecture with Taj Tariq Bey. And as soon as Taj started speaking, he was talking about connotative linguistics, denotative linguistics, law. And I'm like, I'd never seen no so-called black talk about any of this stuff. So from then on, I stuck with Taj. I watched all of his videos, all of them. I'm talking about the ones when he had short hair on top and braids in the back. You know what I mean? The old videos. You know what I mean? Like old videos. I just kept watching and watching and watching. And then, you know, Taj made the connection between Noble Drew Ali and Marcus Garvey. And I stuck with Noble Drew Ali. And then I did my research on Marcus Garvey. And everything Marcus Garvey was saying is in alignment with exactly what Noble Drew Ali was saying. It's just Drew Ali was saying tomato and Marcus Garvey was saying tomato. It's the same thing. So what I see as a student, what I see is people like DarkMan X trying to like take shots at intellectual giants because he has nothing. That's how I see it. It's these people are attacking people who are putting in effort and actually reaching people. Like you see Taj Tariq Bey with humans, you know what I mean? Like in classes doing lectures, actually you see his face and you see him interacting with people. You don't see this guy doing none of that. So it's exactly like Noble Drew Ali said. They want the fame and nobility, but they don't want to do anything. So that would be my perspective. They're trying to take shots at people because they're nobody.
It's interesting too that you bring up Taj Tariq Bey, because somebody just messaged me today about some Moors. Mm-hmm. And you have these Moors now that, you know, going online and having a page is doing something, you know.
Yeah.
On the level of what you're doing, like actually, you know, taking your finance, getting space, opening the doors for people to come and learn or whatever, you know, that's not online. Like that's real life. You're just putting it online.
Yeah.
Opposed to the guy who's, you know, just online only.
Yeah, don't show his face.
Yeah, after the camera turns off, you know, they go back to doing their nigger or whatever.
Yeah, yep, hiding.
Right. But somebody sent a message to me today about these particular Moors and them talking about the succession of Noble Drew Ali, and you know, certain people are the successor because they're from the line of whatever. Now let's just say somebody is from the line of Noble Drew Ali, right? This is a question to you.
Like his lineage?
Yeah, like his lineage as far as what he laid down on paper are the true successors of Moorish Science Temple.
Mm-hmm.
Right? If one of those individuals who were a successor, right, or the line of the succession, was going to a territory, and
he was what to a territory?
He was going to a territory, visiting a territory.
Okay. Yeah.
And when they get out of the terminal or the port or whatever, right? This individual who's a supreme, grand, whatever, has somebody else holding an umbrella over him. How would you view that?
I think that's weird.
Automatic.
Why can't he hold the umbrella for himself?
Off the top, like there's not even anywhere to go.
No, yeah, that like you asked me, that's my immediate response. Yeah. Like I would think that. Why can't you hold your own?
All right, now this is again just to show unity, right? That's the same answer that I gave the sister. Just like that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know, that's weird. Now let's just go in now, you know, for yourself. You know, why is that weird as far as him not being able to hold, like, because, you know, Moors are royalty. So, you know, why can't a brother hold a brother or umbrella over another brother?
Well, I mean, that's true too. But like, as an example, when I was, my cousin's right here, she can attest to it. I was doing class one day, and you know, a lot of people, when they come to class, they have so many questions. So I'm answering 10,000 questions literally at the same time. And, you know, they help me pack my stuff up. But, you know, I'm just preoccupied answering questions, stuff like that. And someone offered to drag, because all those books are mine. So I literally pack them in the bag, bring them from my house, wheel them to wherever I'm going, and bring them back inside. And it's heavy. So I was bringing it, we're about to leave. And, you know, I was rolling into the car and someone offered to do it. I was like, nah, I got it. Like, it's mine. Why? Like, because I think my mother's royalty, right? So if I think my mother's royalty, then I think I'm royalty. So if I think I'm royalty and I can carry my own heavy old bags, then why can't this person who's in whatever line, like, why can't they do the same?
Mm.
Now, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. It's just, to me, I don't think I would do that.
Because I just got the question today, so I said, let me just throw it at you.
Yeah.
You had a clip you wanted to go to first?
Say again?
You had a clip you wanted to go to first?
I mean, not off topic. Well, one of the main things I want to talk about was this guy said something about paper genocide.
Yeah.
So what I wanted to do is explain what genocide is, because once you break down the definition of genocide, you'll see that there's no such thing as paper. That's one of the main things I wanted to say.
Okay.
Because he's trying to say Moors are promoting this whatever paper genocide is, which when you look at the definition of paper and the definition of genocide, they don't go together.
Right. Now, is that sheer incompetence on their part, or is there a bigger agenda? Because, you know, you've been probably, maybe, how long you been out? About 6 months or something like that, to a year?
Well, we've been doing classes since December, but I've been studying this since 2016.
Okay. So
like daily.
Right. So let's just say your birth into the realm of online was December.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Or into the world of, as far as putting yourself out there as somebody who gets this information to people. Right?
Yeah.
Like, me on the outside who's been around, that knows people like this individual, right?
Yep.
That we already had stuff with them.
Yep.
You know, so, you know, where are they really coming from? Because, you know, us doing this shows that they have a problem, because right now it's 2 against 1. Like, they're outnumbered right now. Plus the chat, Islam to the Moors in the chat, taking heads. You know? So where do you, like, because few Moors you talk about this, like, where does this come from? You know what I mean? Because you can't really refute the info. You can't really say we don't have facts to prove what we're saying. You know what I mean? Like, and we're talking about all Moors who are classified as active Moors, who have talked to somebody at a bus, talked to somebody at their store, talked to somebody. This is not something, you know, secluded to a building and only when we're in this building.
Yeah, this is all over.
Yeah, this is we're everywhere with this. You know?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. How? Like, where do you think this? Where's this coming from? Where's your mindset with regard to this mentality of, you know, causing this division and this separation amongst our people?
It is deliberate. It is deliberate, because there's no possible way. Because this DarkMan, talks about he's invoking the UN Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People, but then he never claims a nationality, when in the document it says Indigenous people have a right to a nationality. So it's deliberate. You can tell by the words that these people use. Genocide. They're using that word to cause fear. And then he says, this guy is stealing your land. And then in his entire video, he lets me say like 2 words, and then he stops, and then he interjects. And then even in the video, he admitted he didn't watch the whole thing. So how can you judge something and not, like, how could you judge a book without reading it?
Right.
And then he deliberately skips the parts when I go into things like Indian title is an ownership, and I'm using the law book. You know what I mean? Like you can't dispute that.
Okay. No.
But what he's doing is, for people who don't know, for people who don't have the books, like before I watched a Taj lecture, I had no idea that a law book existed. You know what I mean? So these new people coming in who may not know that a law book exists, they have nothing to compare it to. So automatically when he says the Moors are stealing your land, and he made it seem like I'm stealing their land, like I'm going to their house, you know, taking the land from under them and bringing it home. You know what I mean? Like none of what he's saying makes sense. And to someone who's new, it pushes people away from it.
Right, because they're not
deliberately.
Right, because they're not even, the people aren't even going to consider anything relative to Moors now. After
it's all negative and all fear.
Right, right.
Like at least with like people like you and people like Taj and Sabir, like y'all tell us, you know, and I say us because I'm still studying. Like I watch your videos and stuff like that. Y'all tell us it's a sellout, but that doesn't mean the entire movement is negative.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like what he's doing is just saying this person is bad, this and not supporting it with nothing, just saying stuff. No reference, nothing, just saying stuff. And then all he does is stay on Google. Like, no, he didn't reference one book, no law books, no encyclopedias, nothing, no etymology books, nothing.
Okay.
You can tell if you're studious more, if you do what Noble Darley said, study, then you can tell who is who, and it's not complicated. Like I have your number, and I don't message you all the time asking, is this guy dirty? Is that guy dirty? No, I figure it out because I study. And it's not hard. But these people make it seem like this super difficult thing and Moors. And like in the video, the guy was like, this guy doesn't know who he is because I had Haile Selassie and I had Montezuma in the video.
Oh, yeah, Talk on that.
I was in the Marines, right?
Hold on.
I was in the Marines.
Hold on, let me lead up to this.
Oh, what's up?
Yeah. Hold on a second. Where the hell they at? Yeah, so we have to lead into it. Hold on.
Oh yeah, I go off, so I don't stop.
No, I got you.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's get into this dirty ass dude right here. All right, fair use. Jamhals flick. Fair use.
Yeah, let's put let's put it on the record. Fair use for when people want to try to complain on people's channel and stuff like that. Fair use, right? This is educational to show people about their nationality and their birthrights. This is not anything against somebody. This is just called, we're going to show you some videos and stuff. All right? So fair use. And don't forget, First Amendment as well, because we don't really deal with the acts really. All right? We don't deal with the acts. We're actually constitutionalists. So it's First Amendment before fair use. Just put that on the record. All right?
Let me back it up for y'all, because I want y'all to understand something. Fair use. Once again, fair use. Fair use. If you guys can also hear me, press 1. Plus 1. All right, cool. You know what? Let's explain out. All right, cool.
All right. Now, before we go on, they made some statements about Fard Muhammad is Noble Drew Ali's teacher.
Oh, that's BS.
Right? Let's just clear this up right here. You see this guy? You see this guy right here? You see this guy right here that I'm putting the circle around? This guy right here is Fard Muhammad. This guy right here. This guy standing right here that I'm circling right now. That's Fard Muhammad. So if this is Fard Muhammad and he taught Noble Drew Ali, why isn't he right here where Noble Drew Ali is? How come he's not here? He should be right here. Fard Muhammad should be right here. Noble Drew Ali should be back here if Noble Drew Ali got taught by Fard Muhammad. Why is he way back here? He's not even in the front row. He's way back here. You can't even see his eyebrows. He's in the nosebleeds. He's in the nosebleeds watching the All-Star game talking about he saw LeBron play. You're in the nosebleeds. You didn't see nothing. Shut the hell up. So this Fard Muhammad back here. This Fard Muhammad back here. And this is Noble Drew Ali right here. We're going to ask the question again. If Noble Drew Ali, which is right here, if he got taught by this guy way back here in the bleachers, way up here, where he's the guy who's behind the banner if they held the banner in front of the people. He's the guy nobody's going to see.
You know what? Let's explain out.
Peace, everybody. Welcome back.
Dirty ass Moor right here.
Hold on, let me plug you in. Hold on. Okay, so the first thing is the intro with the images, right? Mm-hmm. We know that more study and stuff like that. So what's the deal with the intro with the images, and then you have the Moors who cut off the hands of the Congolese people in the stuff?
Mm-hmm.
How come you show the guys who work for the Belgians with the fezzes on, the dirty Moors, in the intro of your video?
Well, my whole thing is regardless what Moors, period. Now, what we do when we're conquered is wrong. Like, as an example, I was literally in the Marine Corps, the United States Marine Corps, June 3078. 3rd Battalion, India Company, 4th Deck, Senior Drill Instructor, Staff Sergeant Freeman, right? This is coming off the dome. You know what I mean? That could have been me. But I corrected myself. So the way I see it is, you know, I can't speak for those Moors. I can speak for myself. And once I realized that I served Rome, I corrected myself. And for me, it's kind of like, just because I didn't know of my bloodline, I was still a Moor. You know what I mean? And I kind of want to show the connection of Moors over there and Moors over here. Because I know friends who are Moors, you know, they don't know, but they're in the Marines right now. They're still Moors. They just don't know. So I try to approach it from, you know, a love aspect. Like, I can't speak for what they did while they're under European occupation. I can speak for me though, because when I joined the Marines, I honestly thought we were being attacked. That's what I thought. I grew up, you know, watching the military channel. Even I'm at my cousin's house. Her fiance at the time worked at the towers. So how do you expect me to think? That's blood. Asia, that's my bloodline. So what I'm told is these, you know, our people on the other side is attacking us. What do you think I'm going to do? You know what I mean? Now knowing, now that I know that I was fooled.
Quick interjection.
If say again?
Quick interjection. When did you get to the draft part of King Alfred plan?
No. Oh yeah. Yep.
Okay.
I read. I read a lot of, and it's exactly set up the way they say it.
Okay, so even okay, so how do you look at it now? Would you tell somebody go, or like, is there maybe
no? I always say don't go.
Even though,
studying this takes way more discipline.
Yeah.
And I'm telling Marines, I've been through the crucible. It's supposed to be the hardest thing ever, right? You get 8 hours of sleep within like 3 days? I'm talking about in the crucible, my hands cramping up, like thirsty, tired, carrying other Marines. You know what I mean? Like, this is no joke. And I'm telling you, being in this movement is it's way more honorable than joining the Marines. Way more. And I got tattoos all over my body. I got the DD-214 at my house. Being in this movement takes way more discipline than joining the Marines. That's easy. That's nothing compared to this. Nothing compared to this.
Do you think that's part two why people use that fear idea, like to keep people away from this because it's easy?
What do you mean?
Like, people would gravitate to this more if there wasn't so much misinformation. Like,
yeah, definitely.
I see the misinformation, not, you know, from what you were saying earlier, that it's not really the misinformation, it's fear that they're using.
Oh yeah.
Like, it's not really, it's not really about the info.
Nope.
Like, the info is the facade to get people to think about it's learning and it's whatever, but really they're using their keywords, code words, or whatever like that to hit people's psyche relative to what, you know what I mean, is going to keep them in the paranoid state or the stuck state where they can't do anything or whatever. You know,
that is exactly what it is.
Like, speak
because
about that.
People, you know, like their life, you know, they don't want their life to be affected negatively. And so they use fear. The Inquisition and the democracy is rooted in fear. That's how and why it works. Fear. And like Drew Ali said, they're trying to drag out the true foundation of the minds of the ones that do believe.
Oh, let me ask you this question.
Singing.
Certain people were talking about Where's the audio of Noble Drew Ali? How do we know if Noble Drew Ali said that? You just said Noble Drew Ali said, right? So how are you gonna say Noble Drew Ali said if you never heard a recording of that?
Read his literature. Look at the newspapers. Do research.
No, but
that's like
that's not like, but that's not a recording of him. How do you know that he wrote that newspaper?
True, that's a good question. I don't know. But how do we know that that's Marcus Garvey's audio? How do we know that?
You're good. You're good. I like this.
because this is what I call pseudo philosophy. Like, oh, what? Who called the door the first time? Like, it's a door. If the philosophy is good, what is there to argue? I don't say, well, you know, hey, Granchi Kuto, who said that the sun is yellow? The sun is yellow. You know what I mean? Like, those are things I don't understand. Like, regardless if he said it or not, it's still positive. It's still going to help us. And how do we know that Noble Drew Ali didn't put his voice out there because he didn't want his voice to be misused for something? We don't know that. It's all like just conjecture. Like, what are you talking about? All I know is I have faith in what Noble Drew Ali, or what I think he wrote. If that's what these people want me to say, I have faith in the prophet and the movement, and that's my position. And I really don't care what anyone says. That's my position, because there's too many things that have happened in my life that, you know, before I was conscious, up to now, quote unquote conscious, that just supports everything that I've read about Noble Drew Ali. So, hey, it is what it is.
Hold on, let me just queue up. Hold on, let's queue up this next part. And then I noticed too that they got like, you know, they take a whole hour and a half to make a video, but then,
and I'm in it like twice.
Yeah, like how? Because that's what I was saying earlier, that from my perspective, you're new, but he's been around. So for him to take the position of, you know, go at the new Moor who's doing something, go at the new Moor who's
with proof that I got cases dismissed.
Yeah, with proof of it. Right.
Like,
it's not like
it's like tangible proof.
Yeah,
like not just saying it.
Right. You're not one of the Moors that, you know, that say they're active and then you ask them things and they can't answer or whatever, even though they might have been to a court or been to, you know, a tribunal or went and spoke with whoever about whatever regarding their rights. You know, as we move forward with the thing, like, because I really can't see them being given, like, they're not competent people. Like, if you watch a spy show, like the spy, the bad spy is not incompetent.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he has some knowledge of self about he's a spy. He's mastered the craft of spying. You know what I mean? So it's like, where do these misdirectors really lead people, and what should Moors as a whole be doing to counteract some of the things we're seeing that's, you know, accelerating, if you will. You know, the negative things, the things that we shouldn't even be dealing with if we're Moors, like division and
yeah. Well, one of my things, like with Sarah Student Study, like everything he said was created to cause division. And in my mind, the way I see it is there's no such thing as negative publicity. That's why in the video, I was like, I don't even want to say his name because I'm giving it energy. So I think like we shouldn't give things energy. But the reason why, like I said, when I first came on the quote unquote air, I said, I'm here to defend Drew Ali and Garvey, not me, because this ain't Jamhals movement. This is Prophet's movement. And when I read the things to be read at every meeting, Drew Ali commands us, well, since we're not saying, you know, Drew Ali didn't write it because we can't tell. But anyway, the things I read every meeting, it says, do what you can to support your prophet in your temple. So since I see him as my prophet and he's supposed to be trash about my prophet, like he plagiarized something, then I have to say something. Especially if I'm going to be on camera and read this every Saturday, and then I'm not going to honor it, then who the hell is this guy?
Now, with regard to the no audio of Noble Drew Ali, we brought up newspapers. We know that, you know, obviously if there's a newspaper, somebody wrote it. You know, it's not, you know.
Yeah.
But how do you get the word out where you're at, like outside of what people see, the outcome? Because, you know, you have to be out there in order for there to be class, and you could hear or see that there's 2 more people than last week.
Yeah.
Or 3 more people. Well, you know what I mean? Like.
Yeah, you know what's funny about that? We actually talked about that in class today because I had a few new people, and I was telling them, you know, ancestors be working. Ancestors be working. Because I went to go buy ink for my printer, and I went to this Family Dollar near my house, and they didn't have. I thought it was there, but it wasn't. I thought they had it for like, not Family Dollar, Dollar General, because they normally have ink for cheap. But there was no ink there, so I was walking around the store like, where is it? I swear I seen it. So I had to go further down to the CVS, and I was walking, you know, fed up, and scared. This car stops, and it's like, yo, you a Moor? I'm like, yeah. He walks up to me, he's like, I'm 5%, I'm from this area, boom, 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 you know, I've been studying Islam, all that kind of stuff. I was like, all right, yeah, take my number. We have classes every Saturday, boom, 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 boom. And that's how it works. Like, I feel like it has more to do with the ancestors than me. I'm just, you know, doing what Jamal does. The ancestors do all the work, and then I'm like, all right, yeah, I'll do this. You know what I mean? Like, it's really like, just do it. Just say more. Stir a conversation. Another example, after class, my cousin told someone to come to class. He came to class, and after class, we always go to this Haitian spot, and apparently he knows the owners of the Haitian spot. So that, you know, that builds another relationship within itself, because we were even schooling the people of the Haitian spot, like, you know, Moors, blah, 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 all this kind of stuff. You know, you got the feds on the Haitian coat of arms. And then while we were speaking, while we were eating, there was 2 other Moors, you know, unconscious, sitting there talking. And I'm talking about, you know, how our people, you know, selling cannabis and they flashing their money. Europeans know we don't know law, so the Europeans lock them up to get a piece of the bread. And I'm talking about, you know, rights of indigenous people have the right, you know, to maintain our medicinal plants. But Europeans know we don't know, so that's why they rob us. And then, you know, they heard that, and I was seeing body language, seeing them twitch and move, and they were trying to listen to what I was saying, so I kept going. You know what I mean? Like, if you play on the energy, you play on the ethers, you pretty much, that's what guides you.
Yes. Yes.
You know what I mean? And as long as you keep, like, the faith and, you know, keep people around you, like, you know, the women that come in class, like, they keep me grounded. You know what I mean? Like, they do a lot, like that people don't see. You know what I mean? Like, it's really building the mothers up around you, and like that. Like, if it wasn't for them, if it wasn't for the mothers around me, like, you wouldn't see Jamal right now. Like, because I started doing videos in my basement, and then my cousin, you know, she's a mother. She hooked me up. She got a nice camera, all that kind of stuff. So you have to teach someone around you. You have to, and then from there, it's like a hive mind. Like, it just, like, the ancestors are just doing something on either plane where it just spreads, and then people just come out like, yo, I seen your video on here. This person shared it or whatever. You know what I mean? Like I can't even explain how it works. You know what I mean?
That's real. That's real. We're just gonna play a part here and then just get your perspective off that.
Is there all these Moors, they give honor to Christianity, to Buddhism, and all of that. 5% of everything.
Oh, the thing that you pulled up the other day, that's what you're looking for?
Yeah.
And they put Noble Jewel last on it. I remember what you're talking about.
Yep, they put Noble Jewel last in it. They honor Noble Jewel last. Look, it tells you right here, right? I do hereby declare I am a Muslim. Muslim, M-O-S-L-E-M, in the old order of Islam. Right there, right? In the old order of Islamism, or Islam, whatever.
Islamism.
Right? Islamism. The word first religious creed, right? Found by an ancient forefather for the redemption of mankind and earth, right? Now let's go back. Let's go all the way back. Read this from the top, right? It says, I am a citizen of the Moorish America, right? An ordained government prepared in due time by the great God, empowered as a clean and pure nation indigenous to the continental American territories. I am in accord with the national laws of our divine constitution, bearing the high principle of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. We honor all divine prophets, Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, and Confucius, to Noble Drew Ali, which is last. Shut up. If y'all don't know what you're talking about in the chat, shut your mouth and learn.
So because he doesn't have a channel, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna shut my mouth and learn from him. I rather put.
Well, he's not even teaching anything.
Yeah, I rather put you on. So could you talk about, we honor all divine prophets: Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, Confucius. Like what is your perspective of that lesson from Noble Drew Ali?
Well, that first of all, that wasn't even a list of all the prophets. That's just some of the prominent ones. Secondly, their philosophies are universal. They all taught love. So why would you, like, if you build houses over there and I build houses over here, how is my work different from your work? It's the same thing. So why would you not honor them? You know what I mean? Like if I'm building a house over here and someone else wants me to build a house and I'm too busy, and you build houses, I'm gonna hit you up like, yo, can you help this person build this house? Because I'm doing the work right here already. So like these prophets did pretty much the same thing, or relatively the same thing in their times that Noble Drew Ali did for us in these times. So why not honor them? That's like saying what Prophet Muhammad did when he unified Islam, and what Prophet Degana did when he unified the Iroquois Confederacy. Different things. Well, Islam means peace, and Iroquois Lord of Great Peace is the same thing. Like, what's the difference? Because his name's Degana and his is Muhammad. Like, what's the difference? That's how I would answer that question with that question.
Mm.
Explain to me what the difference is, and then let you teach yourself.
Islam. All right, hold on.
It's right there. That's Moors giving honor to Jesus Christ, Muhammad, Buddha, Confucius, and nobody last.
All right, so there you have it, right? So again, that's what the 7-7 means. It represents all of those religious organizations.
He said, "There you have." They did something, or they said something like.
What do you mean? What do you mean? Like they said something? Like what do you mean they didn't say anything? They read the card. I mean, what do you mean?
Yeah, they just read the card. Like there you go. Like what were you trying to say? Like made no points. Well, there you go. Like now you're all confused. Like Drew Ali said, where there's confusion, there's profit. Well, he didn't say that. He said they're trying to cause confusion, and then in the Rex 84, it tells you in their Rex 84 plan that where there's confusion, there's profit. So excuse me.
Oh, and just you know, your perspective. What is Rex 84? You know, for yourself being a military mind, you know, what is Rex 84, and is it really a death wish for people who don't have nationalities from a military perspective?
Oh yeah. There are people in the Marines. You're not required to think. You're required to think enough only as a Marine. That's it. So if they tell you to go somewhere, you don't have a choice.
So when we tell you guys that,
listen, the type of slavery that is the Marines is you can be punished for getting a sunburn because you don't own your own body. Look it up in the Uniform Code of Military Justice. Look it up. You don't own your own body. It is a death wish. Look it up. Again, in the Marines, you can be punished for getting sunburned because you don't own your own body. That's all I'm going to say on that.
No more needing to be said.
that all religious organizations are all one and the same. We tell you guys that these guys know that, and that's what this 7 represents. And when you see 4320, all that stuff.
I don't mean to cut y'all, right? But if you get a dictionary and look at the words that are being used in this card right here, words like ordain, right? Honor. What does it mean to honor, right? So you honor Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, Confucius. Why you honor all these religions? Because you're the birth of them. You're behind this. You're pushing out. You're also pushing all these agenda. You have different faces, but under one umbrella. That's why they call. That's why you think the 7 represent, right? Muhammad.
Can I interject, please?
Yeah. Please do.
they're saying pushing these. If you study what these people said, their agenda was peace. What is he talking about? What agenda besides peace is he talking about? Literally, the word Islam means peace. Literally. So he's saying get dictionaries, right?
Right.
That's what it said?
Yeah.
So look up what Islam means. Look at the definition. It means peace. So clearly, that's the agenda. And anyone saying anything contrary to that, notwithstanding, clearly they're not for peace. Not complicated.
Not complicated. It's definitely not complicated.
Just, right? Nobody, Jesus, and who else? There's 2 more. Huh? What does there's 7 agenda, 7 different agenda you're pushing. You just gotta pay attention. The answers are right there in your face.
You realize that fake? You realize that fake one that he made up when he said, because they're trying to imply about the 7 heads of Babylon, because the Rastafarian, right?
Yeah.
So they're saying the 7 heads are the 7 prophets: Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, Confucius, Ali, and 2 more. But they're not mentioning. They're not mentioning the the two invisible. They're not
Yeah, 7 different agendas, but you name 5.
Yeah. They got
Whoa.
two heads
Something
missing.
ain't adding up.
Something ain't added up, definitely. And if they can't add, I wouldn't take them too serious.
Apparently, they add and they can't read.
That's a double negative.
Oh, man. Oh, I wanted to build on the when he said in the intro that because I had Haile Selassie and Montezuma in the intro that I didn't know who I was.
Oh yeah.
That I don't remember the timestamp on that one, but
oh, don't worry, it's right here. Hold on, I think I found
if you do the research, I'll just drop something.
Yeah.
If you do the research on the Treaty of Tripoli and the Treaty of Peace and Friendship, it says in the treaties that they will accept the Mexican dollar as payment. So that shows you the extent of the Moroccan Empire. Not only that, but again, the Marine Corps hymn, we're taught to sing from the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli. That's the Moroccan Empire. Then when you read the book, When Rocks Cry Out by Horace Butler, he'll tell you that the Aztecs, Montezuma, had braided hair like Moors. They had mosques, and they had a Moorish police system. What are you talking about? How am I confused?
Yeah.
You seem to be the one who's confused.
Straight up. On the now when you so with the Halls of Montezuma, the song and all that, was it when you found out about Moors and then the connection to that, like did it solidify the whole concept to you more?
Yes.
Like what type of things in military language was more? You know what I mean?
Well, as an example, we are belt loops. There are 7 belt loops. The 7 seas. Moors are known as the sea-fretting people. Once I made that connection, and I was on ship, nothing but motos, like Philippines, like nothing but motos on the ship. And like when Todd said, they love us. When I was in the Philippines, I was on the 31st MU, 3rd Marine Expeditionary Force, when I was stationed in Okinawa, Japan. And I went to the Philippines, and we was in uniform out in town, and the motos there were running up to me. And, at the time I was black, you know what I mean? And they were running up to me, taking pictures with me. But they weren't doing it to the other, the European dudes. They run up to me. And my boy, he's quote unquote Puerto Rican, so he's a Moor too. So like they literally ran up to us to take pictures, like these Filipinos, like the people. So there was just too much that Taj was saying that was relating to my military experience for me to deny the truth. You know what I mean? Because like as he was saying that, and I was thinking about my military experience, like that popped up, and I'm like, oh crap! I just realized they weren't taking pictures with the Europeans; they were taking pictures with me. And even when I went to this mall in the Philippines, and they were playing traditional Filipino music, and then I walked in, and then immediately they played "Teach Me How to Dougie" because that was a hot song at the time, and I realized like all these people were staring at me, expecting me to dance. I'm serious. I'm serious. I'm serious. Like serious. They were all staring at me. I was like, "What the hell is this?" Like Taj is not lying. He's not lying. And then once I heard him say, the Marines sing this, I'm like, "Yep, we do. We do." And even on because I got out as a sergeant. And when I got promoted to corporal, we had to learn sword manual, how to draw swords and all that kind of stuff. And when you draw the sword, you draw it to the point where it's exposing the 6-pointed star on the sword. So higher self, lower self. Like, so all of the stuff that Taj was talking about, and I was relating it to the images I've seen in the Marines, I'm like, all of this is connected. Even the dress blues look almost exactly like what Nawudra Ali wore. When when he said, you know, this is what the prince wears, like, and, you know, that picture that everyone knows about Noble Drew Ali.
Yeah.
When he's sitting in the chair, like that looks just like the Marine Corps uniform.
Oh, hold on. Perfect.
Just like it.
Hold on. Okay, hold that thought. 1 second. Let me find this thing because it's right in tune right now with where we were gonna go next. Where is it? I hope it's right here. Yeah, there should be it coming up right here.
The brothers that was chopping off the arms of the folks in the Congos. The brothers that was chopping off the arms of the folks in the Congos. This is what this moron puts in his video. Right? Again, he's a dirty Moor. Right? Let's go. Ask yourself why Noble Drew don't wear a fez majority of the times you see him in these pictures. You ever ask yourselves that? Who's this woman right here? You ever ask yourselves that? I'm not going to tell y'all who she is. I'm going to let y'all go do the research and see who she is. You understand? Right? Fear, yeah, I already called fair use, sis. Peace, Black Conscious for Committee, peace. But fair use. Right? Y'all going to have to start doing some research now, too.
Now, with regard to Noble Drew Ali's dress code, right? You're relating that to you know, the mooring, right? The navigation.
Mm-hmm. Which they have a bunch of Moors on their ships. Again, I was on the 31st View. I was on the U.S. Essex, and then right before it got decommissioned, I set up the layouts for the U.S. Bahama Shard. So there's nothing but Moors on the ship.
Now, the fez. How has the fez impacted your observation from other people? And if you could give
all I get is attention.
Yeah, if you give some examples, just, you know, even if you have some from the military background, again, you know, what it might mean from that perspective of, like, you know, Leopold making sure that he made them wear that, and the whole idea of these Europeans dressing up their militaries to go pillage the continent
like us,
as us.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that made me connect to Drew Ali was when I read like the old statements, and he said, "I'm a prophet and a general." Like, I was like, yeah, everything he did is what a general would do. You know what I mean? Like, dress code. There were certain days in the Marines where he was like, "We're wearing this uniform." Everyone in the battalion, I'm talking about at least 5,000 Marines, everyone's wearing the same thing. Everybody. That shows unity. You know what I mean? Like, that shows power. Drew Ali was on it. And before I got my fez, I wore his turban, and I went to my grandfather's wife's funeral in New York. And I went to this pizza spot, and this Egyptian was like happy to see me. I don't even know the guy, right? And he just seen the turban and you know, greeted me. He was like, "Yeah, you know, we got the pepperoni. It's halal. You know, let me know. You know, it's good meat." I'm like, "Oh yeah, you know, thanks." And in retrospect, I was telling my little sister, like, "You see how he treated me compared to all these other people? That's how you know what Moors are saying is right." And then when a lot of people ask me for help, I meet up with them at the law library downtown, so they know I'm not making this stuff up. And a lot of the older, like, European women and old European men will stare at me. And one time I was walking down the hill to the so-called court, and this old European lady yelled from across the street, "Hey, I like your fez." I'm like, "Oh, thank you." Meanwhile, all people looking at me like I'm weird. And then another time I was walking back home, this fat European dude was like, "That's a Shriners hat." I was like, "It's a Moorish fez." You know what I mean? Like, they know. They absolutely know. And, you know, I'm normally the only Asiatic in the law library, so they all look at me weird. And sometimes the older Europeans will kind of like hover around me to see what I'm doing, especially when I'm teaching people. Like, they hover around, like, not even looking at books, like just hovering. Like, this one guy was there standing at a printer, just standing at it, just listening to what I was saying. You know what I mean? So they definitely know. And there's this Turkish like pizza spot near the library that I go study at. And I walked in one day with this fez on. You know, they greeted me in their language. I was a little confused. You know, I don't speak language, but I knew what he was saying. You know, he put his hand over his heart, and I was like, you know, assalamu alaikum. You know, they greeted me. Every time I order for them, they come to my house, smiling at me, like happy to see me. And my cousin sitting right here, she could attest to the same thing because we do a lot of we visit there a lot. You know, meet people and stuff like that. And like they're just always happy to see us and just talk to us because they're Turkish.
And, one sec. Mother's there with you too?
Yeah, she's right here.
Oh yeah, let her jump on and get her little stuff out because I know she's in the back there. She wants to say something.
Yeah, she's sitting in the back.
Mother always got something to say.
She's listening.
Mother always.
Yeah. It definitely is. It's powerful when she speaks. Like sometimes I watch the videos, and like when she adds stuff, I'm like, damn, she sees it way better than I see it. You know?
Yep.
So I definitely want to put her on, and you know, I'll give her the phone right now. Hold on.
Yeah.
Hey, Grand Cheek.
Islam, mother, how you doing?
Islam. I'm good.
Yeah, just wanted to get your perspective. You've been listening in, so I just wanted to get your perspective on some things that you might have heard that you might have wanted to get out that you didn't get a chance to.
Well, yeah, I'm not as studied as my cousin, but I trust him and he verifies everything he tells me. He encourages me to research. You can see in the videos in the class, all the books, everything's sourced immediately. When we go out.
Yeah, no, I was gonna ask you how is it? How do you view these things? Like what are these happenings doing to you? Like when you see people give him respect when he has a fez on, more than you ever seen a black guy get treated ever in your life. Even prominent people, like what does it do and what does it mean as far as for the nation and coming from a mother, what could that do for the other mothers out here?
It's beautiful and it's empowering to know the respect that we have once we know who we are. Jamal actually ordered me a fez, so I'm gonna be getting mine soon and walking around with him. I got an all white one with a gold tassel. I'm very excited. You can just see the love and the community coming together, and it's just a beacon to bring us together.
Now, when you say together, what there's obviously some type of energy of unity going on where you're at, because like we were saying earlier, there's always people up in your classes. There's always new people coming to learn something. So what does that unity idea look like to you?
Just starting up and nation building and making people aware. And we always come with love and respect and giving the truth.
Islam. Well, I just want to tell you thanks for all that you do. And like the brother said, like Garvey said, like all the other scholars and master teachers said, that strong women make strong men. So we want to give thanks to you, and keep inspiring the other mothers out here, because we know that they're being inspired and people are watching.
Yeah, for sure. We were just talking about this today. There's work for everybody to do. I don't know as much as he knows, but there's still things for me to do because everybody has skills.
And when you say just before you go, when you say skills and things to do, like how are you, like what skills are you applying? You know, because people here, there's enough work to do, but you know, it seems like everybody wants to do something to get something out of it, opposed to do something. So how did you?
We definitely put a lot in. We put a lot of energy and energy into this that we don't always receive right away. But mostly I use my computer skills, editing skills, video skills, social skills to bring more people in and you know, just help them feel welcome. Anything that I can do to make the process of him being able to teach and be accessible. We handle social media, emails. There's a lot of work that goes into it, and he can't do it alone. So everybody helping out counts.
Oh, yeah,
even if it's, you know, the more that gives another more a ride to the class.
Right. Right. Exactly. And quickly, just because women's voices have a different effect than man's voice, could you plug whatever it is that you want to plug right now? How people could find out about you are, where you're at, you know, how they could find you on YouTube or whatever?
Our YouTube is Small Split. You can also find us on Instagram at Rise of the Moors, also on Facebook at Rise of the Moors, and also an email, Rise of the Moors at.
Do that one more time. Let me mute my phone because I was giving you feedback. Do that again.
We're on YouTube, Jamhals Flicks. Also on Instagram, Rise of the Moors. Also on Facebook, Rise of the Moors. And also on Gmail at Rise of the Moors.
All right, Islam, sis.
Islam.
Peace. Can I also add to, you know, after class, me and her do a lot of like character buildings for me because I was in the Marines, so like I'm used to, you know, talking to the Marines. And like she said, she tries to make it like a more welcome environment because, you know, sometimes I'm just sharp and not really thinking about like, you know, people's emotions and all that kind of stuff. So we do like a lot of character building off camera. Like she's always critiquing. Like sometimes I might answer someone with an attitude or whatever, but in my head, I'm not giving them attitude, but what comes out of my mouth is attitude. You know what I mean? So that too is part of this. You know, just people don't see that. They just see me on. I'm a regular person. I got flaws too.
Yo, let me tell you. Just today when I was watching the class today, I thought about that because another individual or there's probably two individuals, one of them more than another, that I have to give you context to because dealing with the same thing because they're coming out of military. And I'm sure there's a lot of other Moors that are dealing with this too. They're coming out of this. They were from the military background. So like for how I look at it, like they're so on point that the folly is so easy to see. You know, like the missteps that people make, the you know, well, why didn't you just do it this way or whatever? You know what I mean? And it leads to Moors with your background being in this frustrating position with the information. You know, because you have to completely change your whole way of dealing with people because of this character that they've put on you.
Yeah.
You know
that I've accepted.
Yeah. So how do you know, for Moors who are out there that might be dealing with that, you know, on the engagement with other people, but not saying it that it's that, you know, saying things that are going to push them away or whatever like that, or have them look at you like you're crazy.
Yeah. Well, one of the things, like especially when I first started learning, like I had this internal conflict, like You know, there was times where I threw away all my military awards. I threw away my uniforms. I was like, nah, took it out the trash, took it back. You know what I mean? I even had to consult with my mom, like, I don't know how I feel about this anymore. You know what I mean? And she was like, well, it's something that you did. It's something that you earned. You know what I mean? Just look at it like that. And definitely talk to your mother. If she's, you know, if Allah willing, she's still alive, definitely talk to your mother.
Moms break it down, don't they?
Yeah. Like, I'm talking about talking to my mom, crying. You know what I mean? Because it's like you're something else now. You know what I mean? And you have to come back and be like I literally came back and was like, who's Jamal now? You know what I mean? Like, who is this person? Like Drew Ali said, know thyself. Like, I really had to know me. You know what I mean? So like, it's an ongoing thing that even I'm still learning. So I can't really give like a definitive, you know, do this, but definitely talk to mom. Just being around feminine energy, period, would like calm you down. Like, why are you so mad? You know what I mean? Like, before I was so mad, you know, a lot of women wouldn't, you know, want to talk to me. They were so angry all the time. You know, like my mother always said, like, why are you so mad about nothing? And I never understood, like, what are you talking about? I'm not mad, you know, and then my attitude was mad. But it just takes time, like, realize and you're putting the stress on yourself in your own mind. Like, you're not on active duty no more. There's no you have to go to the field next week for 3 months. Like, it's not like that no more. It's not like it's not weapon gear body anymore. You know what I mean? It's not weapon gear body. It's not you gotta sleep with your weapon and hug on and hug it. You know what I mean? You're not on a heightened state of alert anymore. You know, you're on your Cooper color code yellow. You know what I mean? Just calm down. You know what I mean? Just don't be the relaxed, unaware, and unprepared. You know, just be at a relaxed state of alert. You know what I mean? The mission's different. Just see it like that. See it like the mission's different now. And then, you know, adapt and overcome. Become what that mission calls for. You know what I mean? Like, that's the only way, like, I'm able to do it. Like, I can't be aggressive. Drew Ali said, love instead of hate. I can't, you know, especially like being in the Marines when we were in Japan, the first thing we were taught, you know, when we got debriefed when we first got there, we had, you know, learned culture and stuff like that. They said, you're an ambassador. So if I'm going to claim to be more, I know that I'm an ambassador regardless of what I say and do. So don't injure our nation of people with your action. Think. You know what I mean? Because in Marines, you don't really have to think. You just do. You know, they say instant obedience and willingness to all orders. Like, it's not like that. Think. Noble Drew Ali said, think. You know what I mean? So just think before you act, and, you know, just realize the mission's different.
Now, speaking about that, with the mission being different, could you talk to people who might be doing that detox? It might even be from out of prison, that they got this info inside and then they're coming out. You know what I mean? To the world with this info, or the people in the military that are coming into this. You know, speak to that idea of the mission being different, because I always remember of this one Moor that got kidnapped, and he got kidnapped for a little while, but when he got out, he kept making reference to the things that he used to do in there that followed him out here. You know what I mean? And how it was a mission to get rid of these habits, if you will.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So if you could talk on, you know, in relation to you having this info coming out of the military, and then, you know, looking where you're at, and then other Moors who followed that same pattern. Like, what is that pattern that you Moors follow from the military background to get out safe, if you will?
Well, when we're discharged from the military, we get like a week of training, like back into the civilian world. Like, you're not really trained to become normal again. You're trained. You're pretty much set up to just be like a cop or a fireman, or still part of the system. So they don't train you for anything else. So what I did was, you know, something inside me just, you know, when I was in the Marines, I always had dreams of being in the park and hearing birds and stuff like that. So immediately when I came home, I visited the park. Like, be in nature. Like, nature will literally fix you. I worked on a farm for a season, and I was walking on the ground barefoot for a whole season, and like, you realize, like, you gotta slow down when you do that, because, you know, you step on a rock and hurt yourself, you know what I mean? And then I was growing my own herbs, like lemon balm. It's a natural relaxer for your nerves, so it'll naturally calm you down. Because when you're in the Marines, like, you're on this heightened, like, that's why you see all this energy in my videos. It's because, like, that, a lot of that stuff is still in me, you know what I mean? Like, I can't deny that. Like, they say once a Marine, always a Marine for a reason. But it's a, like, and I've been out since 2014. So it's still a process of, you know, detoxing, like, drink tea, drink burdock, drink burdock. Burdock is a root plant. It goes like a foot in the ground. Like, you really got to work to dig that out. Like, that will help realign your chakras. Like, you know, just you literally have to calm yourself down. No one can do it for you. You know what I mean? Like, in the Marines, you know, you're with a bunch of people who are trained, so you know they got your six. When you come out of that, you don't know who's who no more. You know, and it's a little bit scary because you just don't know. Like, when before Marines go anywhere, you know, you do BAMSIS, B, beginner planning, A, arrange reconnaissance, M, make reconnaissance, T, complete the planning, I, issue orders, and then S, supervise. Like, that's, we're trained to think like that. You know what I mean? So to not have other people who also think like that around you is a very scary thing. It's a very lonely thing. But like I said, once you connect back to the earth and get back to self, drink your herbs, drink your natural teas like lemon balm and burdock. That stuff will calm you down, help you align yourself. Like, that's what helped me. And again, putting your feet on Earth Mother, let her detox you, because it works. It might not sound, you know, it might not sound normal to, you know, fresh out the military or whatever, but I'm telling you, India Company, 3078, Senior Joint Subject Staff Sergeant Freeman, I'm telling you, it works. My Marines will understand what that means when I say that.
Say that one more time.
I said the Marines will understand what I'm saying when I say stuff like that.
Right. Yeah. Inside the masonry of the Marines.
Yeah. But also we need trained individuals, like, especially for the muftis. Like, I don't know how it's set up, but like, you are an asset to the nation. Don't put yourself in a negative situation. You know what I mean? Like, we need help, and we need organization, and we need protection. Like, we're supposed to protect the mothers. That's our duty, period. Why do you think they kick us out the house and try to lock us up? Try and get to the mother. So that's the mission. Mission, make sure you know, mission is protect the mothers. That's your mission now.
Wow.
Ideal.
Oh yeah. Fraternal nature of the military, my bad.
No, it is. Yeah. It is.
No, that's the
it's wild.
No more daily.com. Don't forget. Don't forget, no more daily.com. You know what I mean? Make sure you go check what's up. Yes, fraternal nature of the military.
Yeah, that's how it is.
It was something else, yo, but I can't find it. Hold on.
Yeah, great questions, by the way.
Yeah, yo, I've been watching Abdullah. You know, Abdullah taught me well with the questions, yo.
Yeah.
Abdullah taught me well. Taught me well. Where is it? Hold on. You just play this thing. Hold on.
Oh yeah, I forgot this
guy. That's all we do, yo. We just bring them in for a couple of seconds and kick them for an hour.
Yeah. Kick the can.
Kick the can, yo. You're just going down the street.
Again, this is the back of their identification card. We honor all divine prophets, Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, and Confucius. Yeah, I said that. Buddha, Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, and Confucius through Noble Drew Ali. So they honor all those prophets through Noble Drew Ali. Right? You know why that is? And who's to say Noble Drew really created the Aquarian Gospel? Did they see him do it? Did these folks today see him do it? Did they see him do it? Not the Aquarian Gospel, the Circle 7 Quran. Did they see him do it? Like these things, we need answers to. Where's the recordings of Noble Drew saying that he created the Circle 7 Quran? Where's the voice recording? Where's the video recording? They have video then. They have voice recording then.
Okay, so yeah, so they had video then, they had voice recording then. Why would you think people would go to the lengths to either get rid of or not produce Noble Drew Ali's audio or video?
I said this, yeah, I said this on one of my classes. Like you already know how well I know how I felt when I heard Marcus Garvey and how passionate he was about us and just dropping it. Right now, imagine hearing a prophet speak to you. Something's gonna happen to you. Something's gonna happen. When I first heard Tosh speak, something happened to me. You know what I mean? When I first heard you speak, you know, about our nationality and birthright, something happened to me. Now imagine if you heard your prophet speak to you. Like I can't even fathom what would happen. You know what I mean? That's how I see it. Because there's a Noble Drew Ali's hidden deliberately. Deliberately. There's no possible way that, first of all, I had to learn about Marcus Garvey from a European, but I know about Martin Luther King. Like that doesn't even add up. Especially if you read about what Noble Drew Ali did compared to what Martin Luther King did, there's no comparison. No comparison.
Now, what in your word, you know, what did Noble Drew Ali do? From, you know, without having recordings or audio to prove that he did something, what he gave me is a sense of ownership, a sense of pride of who I am. Like literally, the Moors are credited with educating everyone, and I've always been, you know, called a smartass when I was younger. So I'm like, I'm just trying to help. Like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm not trying to act like I know everything. I'm trying to help. You know what I mean? And like, I see that with our ancestors. Like, why are Europeans shitting in the stream? We live downstream. Let me go civilize these people. You know what I mean? Like, that's what Noble Drew Ali brought me. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to speak it like Jesus did this for me. Like, nah. Like, I'm talking about I didn't know who I was. Now I know. You cannot tell me I'm not a Moor. Period. You can't. Like, I'm gonna look at you like there's something mentally wrong with you. I mean, like, that's the type of confidence that I feel like the knowledge that Noble Drew Ali brought instilled in me, like a sense of ownership. Like, I don't like one of the things I said on one of my like years ago on Facebook. I said Haile Selassie, you know, set aside 500 acres of land or whatever for us to go back home. And then some European comment on my Facebook, well, then go then. And I was like, look, and I felt weird inside, like, I didn't really connect with that area. You know what I mean? Like, that's in every single black person. That's in every single black person. They don't even really connect with that area. Like that Europeans open my eyes, like, oh shit, I really don't want to go over there. Like, this is my home. And Noble Drew Ali said we've been living up and down the Mississippi before any European got here. I feel that. Like, I feel that. You know what I mean? Like, you don't need to really say more. I feel that. You know what I mean? I always felt home here. It just took, you know, certain events to happen for, you know, that to come out of me. Like, I know I'm home. I don't gotta feel it. I know it now. You know what I mean? That's, to me, that's what Noble Drew Ali brought. When it says, you know, in the 101s, he taught Moors how to be themselves. That's what he did. He taught me how to be myself. But, you know, that's just my personal thing. Islam more. Let me see if there's anything else here, or if that was it.
So where is it? They don't have none.
Aim toward. Moors are men, upright, independent, and fearless, who care for their loved ones and follow the prophet to a destiny which is not uncertain nor unknown. They are fortified by the impregnable doctrine built upon love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. It is therefore folly at its greatest heights for smelly cobras with their insidious plans to invade such realm. They try, but their own bad plan brings down wrath upon their heads like the sword.
That whole try is a Masonic thing.
Find a difficult path to travel within the ranks of the Moors.
Well, let me ask you this one. They put this one out there that putting the hand over the chest comes from Masons, and you made reference earlier. You made reference earlier. you made reference earlier to you greeting somebody, and then they put their hand on their chest. Could you speak on that and some instances of you realizing that this can't have anything to do with Masonry?
Oh no. Like I said, this library, the William Hall Library that I was studying at, I realized there was a pizza joint right across the street. So, I walked in, what's funny? This is like making me realize, like, they really didn't even pay attention to me at first until I put on the fez, And then that's when they put their hands over their heart and then they greeted me and then they started showing me, the respect. But before I put the fez on, they didn't even recognize me. It was just like I was another customer, you know what I mean? But now, again, Mother's right here. She'll tell you, like, we just walk in and sit down. They walk to us and ask, y'all good? Like, make jokes and stuff like that. Like, it's not a joke. Like, dumb. Come on, dumb. Dumb. I can't even explain it. Just dumb. Saying anything came from me, as it pertains to European Masonry, not mother-son, is just stupid. Without qualification, it's just stupid. Could
you just qualify the mother-son from your perspective,
well,
and if there's any military undertones?
Let me see. Like what I did in class today was I showed how Moor, M-O, M-U, M-I, M-E, all interchangeable. And then M-U in Egypt means water, and we're known as a sea-fretting people. So again, that's 7 belt loop, 7 seas. Then this ancient African parable where they say from the raging waters of Noon came Atum, who gave name to all things. And we know N and M are interchangeable and vowels are interchangeable. So from the raging waters, Noon, of Mom, M-O-M, came Atum, Adam, son, who gave name to all things. So from the mother came the son. And then when you're born, the doctor says what? The baby is crowning. And we put the fez as a crown on our head that sits right above our sixth chakra. So none of that has anything to do with European. That has everything to do with coming from mother. You know what I mean? And then even the word Moab, Mo meaning water, and then A-B from the Latin from, so from the water. And then the human body is what, 70% water? What does that have to do with European anything? And then water exists in what? 3 stages: solid, liquid, gas. So you got the ocean, then you got the land, which would be the solid water, and us, which would be the solid water. And then you got the air that we breathe, which is water. What does that have to do with European anything? And then even in the Marines, they say forward, march, and you take off with your left foot. What's on your left side of your body? Your heart. What does that have to do with European anything? Nothing. It has nothing to do with European anything. And you'll see ancient statues in Kemet, they have their left foot forward. And in the Marines, you start with your left foot. And then when you lace your boots, it's left over right. And then even at parade rest, it's left over right. Like, what does that have to do with European anything? And then when you're marching in boot camp, you hold your weapon with your left hand. But what does that have to do with European anything? The Europeans, when they put their hand over their heart, they slide it in their sleeve to hide it. Like, we're exposing, like, nah, we know heart first. sincerity. That's right in the Quran. European, nothing. Get out of my face.
There's a lot more. Do you have any closing plugs or comments or anything to just put out there?
For any quote unquote new Moors, even though we're not new at all. Don't give up. Don't be confused by these people not actually teaching you anything, not giving you references. And as it relates to the Inquisition operations on our land, don't let fear guide you, because if fear guides you, you're not going nowhere. You're going nowhere quick, fast. You know what I mean? Don't let fear guide you. Just never give up. Because the ancestors will, if you pay attention, the ancestors will show you that they're there. You know what I mean? Like earlier today, we had a class in a new library, and we looked at it real quick, and everything was spaced out. So I was going upstairs to get water, and opened up the fridge, and an extension cord dropped. I'm like, hold on. Oh, and I made a connection in my head, like the outlet is far away from the table, and I need to set up my projector. Like that might sound weird to someone, but that's straight up like, why else would that fall? You know what I mean? To me, I see that like ancestors telling me something. I might want to respond to that, because I could have easily just put it back up top and then went to class and not have that with me, and then I wouldn't have had access to the projector. You know what I mean? So just don't give up. Pay attention to the signs, because they're there. Study yourself. Just get in where you fit in, regardless of what anyone says. And remember, your energy is important. So whatever you put your time into, that's what you get. So if you're always responding to these more saying something about you, you're not going to go nowhere, because you're too busy responding to them. Teach the people. The people is what matters. I don't give a damn about no likes. And Islam told all the people commenting, but I don't really give a damn about the comments. I care about the human beings that show up to me and say, I was able to get out of this based on the information you provided. Like, that's what means something to me. You know what I mean? Like, I know I'm kind of going off, but there have been times where women inbox me saying at 4 a.m, saying, Jamal, the state stole my children. What do I do? Coming to me, like, that's heavy. You know what I mean? So anyone playing with this, I'm not playing, and I'm coming for you, with love. Know that. I'm coming with you, and I'm coming with love. And, like in the movie Doctor Strange, where the Ancient One tapped him in the forehead and his soul left his body, I'm doing that to you, and just know I'm coming. I'm not playing, because our women are being affected by this. This is no joke. So keep that in mind. Like, people's lives, their life, their children's lives are being affected by this. So if you're playing, just know Allah's watching you, and she's not playing.
Islam.
But I end with love always.
Islam. Oh yeah, and just put the email and the site or whatever else you got. I know you got a book and all that stuff. How could they get the book and you know what I mean, the t-shirts and everything else? Oh yeah, and this
right now we're working on that.
One more thing before you do that. I was building with Brother Gil B, Brother Broderick, and we were talking about Moors doing more.
Mm-hmm.
Like, could you give some ideas to what Moors could do other than going to courts and wanting to, be in front of some judge or some highwayman to prove that they're Moors?
Nah, it's not even about that at all. It's not even like that's just like a little piece. You know what I mean? Like that's just involved because they're hindering our people through that system. So we talk about it so our people can get out of it. Like the main goal with that is not proving to European nothing. Like it's not about proving to them nothing. Like, what do you need to prove to some European? Like, that's dumb. It's not about going to court at all. Like, the only reason why I talk about that stuff is because when I first started learning this, I realized, we don't need driver's licenses. And then my cousin wasn't able to see his sons because these Europeans told him he couldn't travel. You know, they say drive. You know what I mean? And that's affecting his life. Like, that's what it's about. It's not about, oh, I go to the European, I told them I'm a Moro. Yeah, you really told them. Nah, like, he wasn't able to see his son because he lacked information. That's what it's about. You know what I mean? And you know, I got family members, you know, unfortunately on Section 8, and they run the risk of getting kicked out of their apartment because, you know, they didn't pay the so-called bill or whatever. When the rights of indigenous people says we have the right to our land and resources back, so we don't owe them crap. Like, it's not about going to court and trying to be something. Like, it's not about that at all. Like, this is your life. Now, that was one half of the question. I got all passionate. So what was the other half?
The other half was just plug in whatever you gotta plug in.
Oh yeah,
and the shirts and everything.
Yeah, you can get the T-shirt risingthemoors@gmail.com. We're working on the website, but you know, contrary to popular belief, you know, we don't get as much finance as you might think. You know what I mean? Like, getting a website costs finance. Getting these books printed costs finance. We were even looking into getting a building because we're tired of hopping around from library to library and telling Moors we're meeting here, and then we get kicked out because Europeans say rooms booked magically. You know, we've been there for hours and stuff like that. Like, it takes time, it takes energy. So if you can just buy a shirt, just buy a damn shirt. You know what I mean? So yeah, risingthemoors@gmail.com. We got the book, my book, Are You Confused About Law? I connect, you know, the so-called Indians with Moors because we ain't no damn Indians. I make those connections with the book. And I highly recommend. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, just give them a little trailer, a little book trailer. You know, like what when you say you're talking about Indians and Moors, and what do you really mean, briefly, so they can get the book. Some highlights.
All right.
You know, to make people get the book.
Yeah. Well, as an example, when Obama said, you know, Constitution derived from Muslim law, and you do research on the Iroquois Confederacy and the Iroquois law of the Great Peace, and then you connect Islam with peace, and then you got the Hiawatha Wampum Belt that show the 5 glyphs, and right in the center you got a tree of peace, and then the Iroquois Confederacy is what fathered the Europeans into government, starting with the first Continental Congress. So when you hear George Washington say, "I chopped down my cherry tree, my father's cherry tree," we fathered them into government. He's not only talking about, you know, the continental flag, but he's talking about that tree right in the middle of the Hiawatha Wampum Belt. And then also there's 5 glyphs representing the so-called 5 civilized tribes, which is the 5 Moorish titles of nobility. And you got the 5 pointed green star. And even when you look at so-called Indian culture, they track, you know, the lunar calendars and the Venus calendar, Venus, 5 pointed green star again. And then on their so-called dream catchers, oftentimes there'll be a crescent on the dream catcher, and then in the northwest corner, as you're looking at it, they'll have a bead, which represents the crescent moon and Venus again, right in your face, and then it'll have like 7 feathers on it, the 7, you know, planetary energies. And then out of, you know, and then I put in my book a Indian treaty. And you compare it to our treaties, and our treaties, the Moorish treaties, show that we're in a position, a powerful position, and we don't surrender to them, and we're dealing with council courts and stuff like that. With the Indian treaties, it shows you that the Indians always agree to be under the United States Corporation Company's jurisdiction. It's never an equal playing field. It's always a subservient or adhesion contract. And then I go into how the Bureau of Indian Affairs came out of the Office of Indian Affairs being under the War Department. So that tells you something. And then I go into the fact how, you know, we had them here as our servants, and then we allowed them to be free. That's where the Virginia colony came into play, 1607. And then shortly after that, the Iroquois Wars, 1610, the Powhatan Wars, the Beaver Wars, and out of the Beaver Wars came the Pontiac Wars in the same area, in the Great Lakes area. And then out of that came the Niagara movement with so-called black people in the same area. And out of that came the NAACP. So they went from Indian to black to colored. Like that tells you something.
Quick introduction more. Somebody asked in the chat about the site source that displays the Indian treaties that you talked about in class.
You can actually go to the Bureau of Indian Affairs website and they'll have, you know, those bogus treaties listed. But I do source the link, I can't remember off the top of my head, in my book where I got that specific treaty from, and they'll have a list of treaties, and they never predate the Treaty of Peace and Friendship, ever, from what I found. It's always 1800s, never 17 nothing, or 15 nothing, or 16 nothing. And then also, they try to say here in the Narragansett land, with the history here, I mentioned the history here as well. Like a lot of my book has history here, because the first Baptist church in America is built here, 1638, right downtown, still standing today, right downtown. And that was where a lot of brainwashing happened. So 1638, they built the church, and then 1724 or 1712, Willie Lynch letter came about, and then Christian Black Code 1724. And then 1740 is what's known as the first Great Awakening, where now these Indians and these so-called blacks are now proud Christians. So that's related to the Intica Terra Divina. And also in my book, I'm giving you a lot about the book, just so you know. Roger Williams wrote a book talking about how the language here, the Narragansett language, is similar to that of the Hebrew. And we know Hebrew text is derived from Canaanite. So already that shows you something. And then in the book, he says his name will be famous amongst the Gentiles, talking about us. And now we have Roger Williams Park, Roger Williams University, Roger Williams Elementary School, Roger Williams Housing. So again, that's related to the Intica Terra Divina of 1493. So I'm making major connections between the so-called Indians, the fall of the Moors, and us being Moors. Like, these Indians are Moors, period. So I try to focus on that, because some of our people really think that we're Indian. We're not. We are absolutely not. Like I said, I've been to the Chiefs meeting, and there's people who look hair woolly like me, beard like me, dark skin like me, even darker. And they're talking about their Indians. Like, they're playing games, because they got the books. They got the law books, and I tell you right in the law book, Indian title isn't ownership of property. So they're playing you. Don't let them play you. So that's what my book sheds light on.
And then once again, the name of the book and where it could be got.
Name of the book is "Are You Confused About Law?" And you can inquire about it by emailing me, riseofthemoors@gmail.com. And the more successful this is, then we'll be able to develop the website and sustain the website, and we'll be able to sell more things on the website. So you can go to the website instead of emailing me, because it's just more convenient to go to a website to purchase things. So again, riseofthemoors@gmail.com. Are you confused about law?
We appreciate that, more. Give thanks for the bill today. Give thanks for the bill today, and keep doing the work that you're doing, because trust me,
definitely,
that work that you're doing is needed. Where you're at and where everybody else is at. So, it's definitely inspiring to know that we're putting out this info and it's sticking in certain people, and they're doing with it what they're supposed to do with it. So Islam to that.
No, yeah. I made it a point that once we got the case dismissed, to go to the House of Ram, show them like what the information you provide works. Because one of the things in the Marines we're taught to encourage the wayward and influence the elders. So it's our duty as younger Moors to show the elders like the torch that you lit is not going out anytime.
Right.
And as far as the wayward individuals, I always try to make the point to show you like there's no fear on this side. There's nothing to fear.
Right. And one more thing in closing, you mentioned a few, but just a little rundown of some of the people you've been studying from, and whether it's books or individuals.
I got your book and Rami's book, 770 Minutes Facts About the Moors. I studied Rami Salam El. I studied you. the Beer Bay. I don't have any. Taj Street Bay. I got his civic lessons. I got all of RVBaypublication.com's books. I got Dr. Ivan Van Sertima, Toby Green, Inquisition Reign of Fear, Dr. Yusuf Ben Yakinan got his books. I got law books. Hakeem Bay, I think his name.
Yeah.
Can't remember.
Yeah.
C. Freeman L. I watch his stuff. Roz Mariah Bay, she's on it. Love it. Love when the mother spit it. Sister Anna Ida L. Her voice is just like it does something. You know what I mean? Like it does something. You know what I mean? Mizraim, like he's on it. Say again?
No, that was my bad.
There's just too much. Shout out RVBaypublication.com. There's just too many things. Yeah. Oh yeah, Abdullah. Can't forget about Abdullah. Went to his class last Wednesday.
For real.
Love the energy. Like you can't even tell he's an elder. You know what I mean? Like he brings it.
Was that your first class at Harlem?
Yeah, yep.
Oh, what was that?
We had more that came down from Harlem to see us.
Yeah.
And they were like, yeah, we go to this class. We were like, oh yeah, we'll definitely visit y'all. And then we went up and was there.
What was that vibe like?
A lot of people walked up to me saying they watched my stuff, so it was like, hey, I came here to learn. Like it was beautiful though, because learned a lot just being around just other Moors. It was a little disappointing because I was the only one in with fez, and for other people I did sort of fez on.
Yeah.
But I expected more. Like y'all ain't repping out here. Like it was just me for a while out here, and I'm repping hard. You know what I mean? So I was because we were right next to the so-called National Black Theater. Like Patrick Bay set foot in there. Like what you mean?
Yeah.
Y'all ain't fez up. Like what are y'all on? And even walking the streets in New York, like a few people walked up to me because they seen it says, says salam, peace, ask me a few questions. Like, so it's like, why aren't you wearing a fez? Like,
right.
People around, like, this is a beacon. The fez is a beacon. Like, practice your culture. Because for a while, not knowing who I was because I didn't have my culture. Now I have it. Best believe I'm practicing.
Straight up.
Wearing your fez is practicing your culture. It's your birthright. Do it.
Well,
it was a beautiful experience.
And if we're gonna be displaying the casual fezzes tomorrow at class. The knitted kufis with the tassel. Sister Miriam Bay doing her crochet designer stuff. So we're gonna show off the red casual fez tomorrow at class that she's worked on. I think there are gonna be 20 notes, but it's a good fit. You know what I mean, for Moors. It's one of those unity things. So it's Empress Miriam Bay. If you wanna just get it just because you're hyped to see what the hell this is, the knitted fez or the knitted kufi with the tassel, casual fez. Empress Miriam, Empress MARYAM .bay@gmail.com. Empress Miriam .bay@gmail.com. But yeah, more. Well, give thanks again for the build.
Peace. I appreciate it.
No worries, more. And we'll be in touch, yo. Stay strong.
No, definitely. You too, brother.
All right.
Also, y'all at Canaanland, I love y'all. We love y'all. Hearing all y'all in class, like hearing y'all laugh and share, like that inspired me. Just hearing Moors together, you know what I mean? Like, because for a while it was just me, so that means a lot. And I know how it is to not really know, like, if the work is being perceived or whatever, but just know just y'all being together, even in the music videos, all y'all together like that means the world to me.
Islam.
So, you know.
Give thanks, Moor. We'll definitely keep doing what we do on our side. Peace and love to all the Moors worldwide, all the chat muftis for holding it up today, even though there was nobody in there. They're on the run now. And all the and all the active Moors, even though they gave us a thumbs down, but you know, all the active Moors keep active, and you know what I mean, honors to the Prophet Noble Dwali, big honors to Marcus Garvey, who people call traitor. Big supreme honor.
Big ups to Marcus Garvey.
Big ups to Marcus Garvey with his one audio. They're not worried about where's the rest of Garvey's audio, because they got one, but they're worried about Noble Dwali's no audio, but they only got one Garvey audio.
But can I interject real quick?
Yeah, boy.
And just know he honored me, called me a dirty Moor. He still honored me by calling me a Moor. He told me, no nigga, he didn't call me back. He called me what my bloodline is. That tells you something.
Yeah, more that means dark. So certain people should be called Moorman X. Islam to Moorman X, and don't forget fair use. Fair use.
Fair use, yeah.
Fair use.
Weirdo.
Fair use.
Of course, nobody still talks about that. Many of them still in this movement. You understand what I'm saying? To kill the civic side of this movement, so people can think it's just another black religious Islamic sect. You get? That was their mission, to establish that fake reality, not reality, but that fake appearance of reality, that semblance, that color to the people, which is the color that most people have of the Moorish movement now. And anyone says that's not true is a liar, because that's the concept that people have of this movement. Until we came out and started reaching out to them while everybody else was being silent, condemning us for doing it too. And we put literature out there to change their concepts so they can have something to reference to. You understand? Just like the Prophet said do. Exactly what the Prophet said do. People mad at us, still mad at us for it. I don't care. Because I'm not in it for them. I got babies. And they got babies. And they got babies, and the babies that's still in the womb. And I ain't having it. I'm a soldier. I came as a defender for Noble Dwali. That's why I do what I do. I'm telling you bluntly. And I ain't afraid.
Move the force of the conscious game. Superstars won't spend all those G's just a supercar. I'd rather put the funds to move the force guns. Dr. Sebi Remedy in truck skids and tons. Signing bonus, give to Gabriel or Igbo. Or UMIA, let more replace Negro. I'm not the face watcher or friend beggar. I'm not the type to take back what I tell ya. Tight pants and dry flows, I want a Rockefeller. Black Hawk down, a fly rapper and snap propellers. Airspace in these bars, I know flow zones. I heard R&B singers are homo drones. I heard that from a gay rapper dressing so thug. G's can't pass butt cheeks, dressing so snug, like a snuggle bear, showing me your underwear. Rapper Inquisition make rappers run from fear of being shown up. You already thrown up, punchlines and hooks leave their face swole up. Or like the triad, if you don't pay what's owed up. Rapper Inquisition, horror flick the lips sewn up. Can't go one-on-one for IHF zone up. Using the fiat and deals, pumping the clones up. Making more rap clones like iRobot. Short circuit the whole industry of rap robots. That what's boinking. Working with the ones oinking. Hip-hop's hurting IHF, the vocal ointment. Flow like a break waves and b-boy girl dancers. Spit like pain of old school rappers. Fiend for the true hip-hop scratching like a producer. MC OGs with content that you're used to. Fiending for true hip-hop scratching like a producer. MC OGs with content that you're used to.
They want make we life hard like pavement. Me no afraid to make my statement. Babylon one with the mental and physical enslavement. Think right now if we are live like cavemen. How much for the dark, how much now we make it. The righteous replace them, the more side erase them. Discrimination, plaguing with nation. Unity is strength, we weak with separation. Jailhouse is meant to deplete elevation. Wisdom visit on the deep meditation. Or you have to see on the sleep medication. Herbs are the healing of the nation. Tell them police, they not stop chase man, especially since we know the phone no place. That's skirt of the truth. Me know say you can't take that. See the chat, yeah, this rasta. Nah, take back, you don't know. Couldn't grasp half of the shit that we've been through. These clip ass niggas making comments on YouTube. TorontoRappers.com talking about you too. Generation switch, shouldn't have to show you. Big man grow, bitch, don't worry about the old school. Haven't seen a man you used to see before. Cause certain man don't want the face seen no more. Get off our dicks, your pussies is whores. Tendencies of a bitch, you should learn to be a more. And while you're hating, we'll keep repping T.O. and celebrating, cause enough soldiers soon home. We penetrating, got the locks and the codes. So do your own time, bro. We alright. Everybody on their own ground, but we still tight. It's just a miscommunication, which brothers don't fight. You need an occupation, or I forgot you tight. Shit about other man, cause you covered their life. What your business, you should mind though, cause we work nights. And you ain't hard to find once darkness comes to light. And I don't care, you can take my flesh life here. I manifest, and I come back in your nightmares. And I kill you there, I've been traveling for light years. I can't die, but they won't see you horny or you won't wake up. Need to call the coroner, another wake up. Your boys will be corona, cause they slept. Reminiscing while the morning saying what the. Just yesterday we was blogging with each other. Shouldn't I? With just another brother and the rest of the camp. 2 decades straight, we've been making our stamp. Yay, I know you say you don't even know me. I make it clear I'm a Flemodon OG. Year to year, made stacks off the Moses from the block to the bars. I'm known we between the rats and the stars. I play low-key looking down, and it's far at the top, it's getting lonely.
Yeah. Of course, the agents that exist, whether or not it's informed by my lips, labeled angelic or devilish, based on the view to behold against the older we get. Our perspectives and action change regardless, lines drawn between those that intend to hinder gain. Similar, not the same secret of the seat that left to complain. The reference frame change while still thinking life is a game. While we train, this battlefield, and when comic kicks is real, my mental plus my tempo must be ready to switch from hurt to heal. It's true to reveal similarities since they be following orders accordingly from trust to destiny. So mercy's unnecessary, murder honorably when enemy. And as long as common mode exists, an opposition has to be. Contestment up, contestment up. Yeah, contest. I'll flatten your career, make a whack rapper. Too many whack rappers out there. This one's for y'all, Simon. I'll flatten your career, make a whack rapper disappear. Grab you by your shirt back and kick your ass out of here. Bystanders run for cover cause I'm back to reap havoc. Remember me? To kill them all and make them die tragic. Tell the opposition, cock it back and let them have it. Let them vanish like a magician and rap some magic. And like poof, you're gone. With the proof I'm on to all your non-substance rappers. If you want, respond. Give y'all a second, but I recognize you're repping. Some metrosexual shit, that's not the way that I'm stepping. I study last year's testing. Skim the cheat sheets, so test me out. Kill commercial rap like dead meat. If you don't know, I'm Simon Phoenix and like dead beats. Hung commercial rap on front page. I can't be discreet. Lyrically dumpy, leaving bodies in tall heaps. No mortal can walk like I do. Now bow and kiss my feet. Call me sire. Throw out your skinny jeans and retire. Back you up against the wall with hail or gunfire. Sharp talent, shred your skins and shatter your bones. Stay out of the kitchen. Better yet, drop the microphone. Steadily prepping better recipes. I rap till the end, but rap won't be the death of me. But a shower posse when I catch ya, I wet ya, then blow you up the crime scene. All that's left is your stretcher. So test me not, make your fans convert. Have them wearing fatigues and burning tight pink ass shirts. Have them dashing out the flashy clothes like I'm not Tron. Middle you pipe bombs, labeled that wanna be rap icon. Check me later, I'm gone. Thought I died, but I respond. My words are bondable, but when I speak, don't respond. I drown shallow-minded MCs in a shallow pond. Mobilize a million men to march like I'm fed. Farrakhan, but I'm more like Malcolm and my brother's son Falcon, chasing crazy ball heads out of our town after I scalp them. But I'm more than you could true motherfuckers come test me now. So test me now. So test me now.
It's still IHF, still ill, hot and feds. The type to leave a batty guy leaking from his head. Dirty like the naps in my head. The enemies still want me dead, but mentally I cause their bodies to combust spontaneously. I be that ghetto dentist, removing chest cavities with my psychopathic surgery. My incision won't be circular, more like linear. My network stop rising, can you still hear me clear? No more text messages, only mental mind blast to my comrades. Traders never overstand the task. Rather floss in some tight pants of money in the hand. Big chains and rims spinning. My stone hands will leave your face smashed and ears ringing. I'ma get it soon beginning, so there's no time for sinning. When I finally kill the devil, I'ma hear this angel singing. That's a beautiful song.